Hey, thanks for joining us for another segment of Canadian Bacon Stocks. Today's high value targets for August the 31st, 2023. What a great day in the market, especially in the morning for Thursday, August the 31st, the last day in August. Get right to it on your screen. You can see, probably a lot of people called this Shopify in Canada. With the Amazon news this morning, I got that a little bit last night, and then this morning I not broadcasted, but I let people know around 8:30 a.m. Shop is going to hit, and it did hit big. And look at that, it went up. This is the USD because my other shops all messed up, but look at that, it went up to 10.80% today for August the 31st. So it was a good call because it's extremely, like I mentioned to you, this thing's punched me in the face before. So this is the Canadian one. I'm sorry for all the lines, but I trade this stock fairly frequently. This is the Canadian one, and it went up 10.69% for Shopify. So this is a great stock to watch out. It's extremely violent these days. If you're there for the ride this morning, congratulations. Next week, with the Canadian holiday and everything, look out what's going on. You'll see a little broadcasting. If we're not trading on the Canadian market, then the American Shopify is going to move. And that's that one right here at $66.49 US. So that'll move. Sometimes I get nice broadcasting being a Canadian and trading on the Canadian market. Sometimes we got an advantage, sometimes we have a disadvantage with the American holidays and the Canadian holidays not matching up sometimes. So that's your Shopify, and that's going to move me over to the Magnificent Seven today, and we're covering the banks. And hope you guys keep your eyes and your fries on the Shopify. Sizzle stocks, we call them, right? Turn me over, I'm done on this side. Is not the case with Shopify. Maple flavor bacon chips, yes, and that's where we're going to move to right now. But we'll cover Apple. Apple's been a little violent. Let's go to the Canadian Apple for your trading interest. Up only 6 cents for the full day, but in the morning on the 31st, it moved up quite nicely. Please jot these down. I've mentioned them to you in a couple segments before, but they're extremely volatile. And if you're shorting this kind of stock, day trading it, it's really fantastic using your Canadian dollars for these stocks. And there's the AMD for August the 31st, 2023. It's down a little bit, but it moved up in the morning. You're looking at, I think, a 5-day, 1 day to 5 day, depending on my skew on this. NVIDIA looking hot. So these are the ones I think they're going to make a lot of progress next week after the holiday. And tomorrow I'm going to show you, they got the economic calendar coming up, but just a short minute. And I'm going to show you why you may want to take your foot off the gas for Friday, September the 1st. And don't hit the brake, but just cruise in the morning. I've been really lucky this week in calling a few nice calls that way. And, you just trade the way you trade. I'm just saying that it looks very volatile tomorrow. It could just be free fall Friday. We don't know. There's your NVIDIA for USA. A lot of volume at the end of the day. And, of course, our chips, Intel there, and that's the American Intel. And here is the Canadian Intel, up 45 cents for the day. I'll take 45 cents on any share for any day. And a Canadian trading, that's clean money. I made a mistake, and I took someone else today. I'm going to show you them in a second. I'm not going to go too far down the list, but you got your Microsoft and your Canadian Microsoft. But I'm not trading a lot of that. And the one that I was raving about, check it out. Everybody knows about your best friend's girlfriend, which is Amazon, with the big news with Shopify. Look at them on the 31st in the morning, big chop up. I did a little FOMO in here, so I hope you guys maybe caught that wave on the Amazon, right? That's why they call me Dave the Wave. They should call me Dave Crash and Burn. But I think it's got a lot of potential. Keep your eyes out for Shopify in the next, 5 to 10 days. Just keep your eyes out. Look at it. You may have a lot of potential here. I'm seeing a real good upside. Amazon and Shopify. This is the Canadian version of the Amazon. They have the same formation. This is just a hedged on the Neo. And it's one of my favorite ones to trade, but not today. So live and learn. You get in a little late, and then things settle down, and it's the story of my life. And then you got your Google, and Google's looking good. I'm not going to go too far down the list. I think I'm going to end it with Google today, and it was dropping at the end of the day. So we're looking at nothing in the news, especially about Google. Keep your eyes on Google, just the ones that I've shown you in as far as yet. Going right to the banks. The banks are interesting. I will go over to this Canadian Western Bank. Okay, so I'm going to show you about 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 Canadian banks really got punched in the face today for August the 31st, 2023. Ho, ho, ho. And so I would keep your eyes on your fries with these banks in the next few days, because what goes down must come up, especially with these big boys, these heavy hitters. But they've taken pounding. The only one that didn't look like a Canadian Western Bank. Doesn't move. It looks like a buck it moved up today, but still a buck. A dollar is a dollar, right? And then you have, look at this National Bank of Canada dropping violently today on August the 31st, as you can see. Jot a few of these down if they're in your price, if in your snack bracket, in your price range. Toronto Dominion Bank, look at them dropping heavy too. Here's another one of my big players. Look at this guy, RBC, Royal Bank of Canada. Dropping one of the shoot, recovering towards the end of the day. You got your look at your Bank of Nova Scotia dropping heavily, recovering a tiny bit at 10 minutes at the end of the day. And of course, the one that always knocks me out on the floor, Laurentian Bank of Canada. Very interesting bank. Like I've mentioned before in other segments, right? So I've had a couple of nice line drives. I hit the ball out a few times, not out of the park with Laurentian, but at the same time, it's kicked me in the back a couple of times. You move to IA Financial, and that's down. And oils. We won't get into the oil in this segment, but there's some potential with Imperial Oil and Suncor there. You may want to jot a couple of those down. Winding up, my friends only give me 11 minutes and 44 seconds. I'm already at 8:22, so they're going to cut me off. And thank goodness this loaded. This is the Canadian heat map. So as you can see over here in finance, this highlighted, it's the banks, TD, Royal. The symbols aren't loading for some reason. I will try back. Let me just try that again. And they're not loading. So Shopify was a big header at 10.69%, as I mentioned earlier. Another guy I think that's coming around, I can't see the emblem, was Canadian Tire. So I would keep your eye there at CTC.A at $160.30. They look like they're recovering from all that bad news they had in later time. I'd jot them down if they're in your snack bracket on $160.30 for Canadian Tire in Canada. And the economic calendar, just be aware before we wrap up today. Thanks for joining us on Canadian Bacon high value targets today. That's the banks and those magnificent 7, or a portion of the 7 that I showed you. On September the 1st, that's tomorrow morning, September the 1st, Friday, they got the GDP growth rate for Canada. Another biggie coming up is the United States unemployment rate. And that's a biggie too. Down in Canada, moving on, so that's why I'm not putting my foot on the gas. But you guys trade the way you do trade. But, you just get a whisper, some bad news or something, and unemployment in the United States, and things go sideways, right? Especially on a Friday, towards a long weekend. So Canada, September the 8th, unemployment rate. So that's going to be a big one too. September the 8th, jot that down in your little calendar, right? News, there wasn't too much specific big news 42 minutes ago from 9:13 Eastern Standard Time. Broadcom stock slips after earnings as forecast fails to bring upside. The S&P 500 slips about 1.8% for August. I missed one other item. I'll bring it to our next segment. And that's their highlight of the week. We're going to look at AMD. AMD is one of the chips. Like I said, sizzle chips, maple flavor bacon chips. So we're going to be doing, I don't have the little icon, but AMD, right? Little brother of the NVIDIA. And there's another one before we just finish the news, and that's Bitcoin poised for rally in first quarter of 2024. So if you're doing a Bitcoin, it says before that, expect further consolidation. And that's about CoreWeave and Broadcom slips, as I mentioned, and that's about what we have for today. So check out those Magnificent 7 for next week after the holidays. I hope you guys are having a great week trading, and I appreciate you dropping in for the segment on Canadian bacon stocks, high value targets. I'll bring you some really hot targets next time, and we look forward to seeing you. Thanks for joining us. Have a nice long weekend.